Welcome to the Purdue Dairy Digest. I'm Dr. Jackie Borman. Today on the Dairy Digest, we will talk about what Chapter 11 bankruptcy for Dean Foods means. The biggest news from the dairy industry this week is the announcement that Dean Foods has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Well, this announcement is so new that there is still a lot of uncertainty about the future of the plants and the dairy farms that supply milk to those plants. I wanted to talk today about what is known and what the obligations are for Dean Foods moving forward. First, you may remember that Dean Foods was in the headlines last year as they stopped receiving milk from 100 dairy farms across the U.S., with about a quarter of them being from Indiana. Dean Foods had lost contracts to two large buyers of their products in the last couple of years, and it forced the company to reduce the supply of milk that they needed. However, Dean Foods still processes almost 10% of the U.S. dairy supply and is the largest dairy processor in the United States. Dean Foods currently employs about 15,000 people and responsible for not only the national brands that we may know, but also dozens of regional brands as well. The announcement of filing for bankruptcy not only caused uncertainty for dairy farmers, but also for the employees of the company and the towns where those dairy plants are located. Under Chapter 11 bankruptcy, the company is allowed to financially restructure the business and prepare that business for sale, while continuing to operate the business as normal. During the filing, it was announced that Dairy Farmers of America, the largest milk cooperative in the United States, may be interested in purchasing a large portion of the business. However, this is still being negotiated and would be subject to antitrust conversations. Would this limit competition, and would this allow DFA to be too big and too powerful? In the documents listed on Dean Foods' website, their legal obligations are listed. The first is that dairy farmers can expect, and Dean Foods intends, to pay for goods and services on or after the filing date. Because negotiations for a sale may take weeks and more likely months to complete, this is good news for dairy farmers who supply milk to Dean Foods currently. The milk that they are supplying to Dean Foods now and in the future, they should get paid for. However, the goods and services that they supplied to Dean Foods prior to the filing date, Dean Foods is not required to pay for under Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Again, I believe Dean Foods will try to pay for the milk they received prior to announcing that they have not yet paid farmers for, but farmers may need to file a proof of claim in order to receive payment. This wording is again from the Dean Foods website and based on the requirements of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. However, Dean Foods may be communicating more up-to-date information to dairy farmers directly. The best case scenario is that Dean Foods is able to sell their business and that there is minimal disruption for dairy farmers and their current employees. However, there is likely to be some changes, which could be good or bad, that will occur under new ownership. Please continue to buy milk and dairy products, as those in the dairy industry face uncertainty and would appreciate your support. If you are a subscriber to the podcast, can you do us a favor and rate us in iTunes? If you're not a subscriber, become one today, and you can listen to this podcast at your own time. Thank you.